What is up, y'all? It's episode 55 of Your House, Our Rules. We're back at it again. Had some fucking flights delayed. We had to cancel one last week. It's been a weird 2 weeks, but hey, we're here, guys, and fucking we got some shit to talk about. So first topic of the day that we're going to get into is these goddamn Walmarts that are shutting down. Yeah, and apparently I was looking at it because you guys sent me the topic, and I was like, "What? Why would we talk about Walmart shutting down?" And I did not know that apparently in these areas they are actually have defunded the police. Correct.
Yeah, it's all like super liberal cities that they're being removed in, and I mean, some say it's because of like online shopping and stuff, but like the main reason is because of like ridiculous amounts of theft in these areas. Because it's not like even like you can steal up to a certain amount of money worth of stuff, and like they won't even arrest you. Like,
yeah.
They won't even stop you in some cases.
Oh, I've seen videos of people just like grabbing bags full of stuff and just like marching out. And they'll do it in like a big group, like 10 of them will go in the store at the same time and just start snatching shit.
Yeah, I was about ready to say you guys sent us some like video clips of like people just stealing fucking shit. Like if it's not bolted down, they'll take it type shit. And I was like, well, technically there could be like Black Friday, because that happens all the time on Black Fridays when people go in and they just like bum rush shit and fucking take all their stuff. But yeah, apparently, do you know what cities they were actually in that this is happening?
Portland, Chicago, San Francisco. I know those are like the three main ones.
Those are three
ones.
of the like biggest liberal cities in the
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's coming down to like these. I mean, the defund the police thing, it's always kind of centered around the left side of things, but these incredibly liberal cities, and this is what's happening. I don't know, this is what happens when you defund the police, though. I mean, if you're unable to, even though it's a kind of, I guess, considered a petty crime, but when you just do nothing about it, fucking no one's going to stop. They're just going to take all your shit. So.
Yeah, a lot of the like DAs in those like cities and like liberal areas, or like, I mean, people like claim that George Soros was like the one that funded their campaigns and stuff like that, and like, depending on like what the crimes are, like like for certain people, like they just don't prosecute people and they let people out of jail like left and right. And
they're letting people out of jail too.
Like when they do, when they do get like certain charges, like they'll go to jail and then they'll decide that they're not going to prosecute them for the charges, or like it's just like a little slap on the wrist and like. Now, back to it.
Are these like crimes that have happened during the time that they've defunded the police, or they're just like letting people out of jail? Like how they're like forgiving like weed,
small stuff.
Yeah, small stuff. I know they're doing that. Like that's kind of countrywide or whatever. But in these specific cities, they're just doing it to old school people, or only people that have committed the crimes under the new like defunded acts.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're doing like pretty much anybody. Like is like it just depends on like what the crime is. If like the crime fits these certain things that they're considering not to be like punishable. Like not like it's not a big deal. Like people just get like a little slap on the wrist and send them on their way to go do it again.
They don't have the money to house the people that aren't doing like the big crimes right now.
That is
because they're getting defunded
when they get.
So like they're like, well, we don't have any money to take care of these people in prison, so we're just gonna have to let them out.
Yeah, and when you have like so many people getting sent in for the same like small little petty crimes, and you don't have enough room to house them, they just let them go and like give them a court date like down the line, and then don't prosecute once they come to court.
How is the Walmart on Ferguson still open then?
Well, I mean, I think these are this is only happening, like we said, in the places that are like defunded.
Yeah,
at least as of now.
Yeah, we're not defunded over on Ferguson.
No,
right?
I know that.
That's the most shoplifted Walmart in the entire country.
That's why I say that. I mean, do we need new microphones and like any equipment? I mean, I can just just give me a grocery list. I'll go over and
I've never shoplifted in my life.
But like it's mainly been Walmart.
Don't look at me.
But I've seen like Walgreens is also pulling out of, I think, San Francisco and Portland.
Walgreens is owned by Walmart, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's a good question, actually.
I'm pretty sure Walgreens, Walmart, fucking.
I know they weren't founded by the Waltons. The Waltons founded Walmart. I don't know if Walmart
I think they're like
Walgreens out, but
I think Walgreens is like a
company.
subsidiary of Walmart. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that they're both owned by.
They could have been bought
company.
out, but that's not how they originated. Walgreens originated on its own.
Having that name seems a little bit too convenient.
So what's going on with Walgreens then?
They're pulling out areas.
In San Francisco and Portland. Walgreens is pulling out
as well.
Okay.
Wow.
The San Francisco, I wonder how bad it is in San Francisco, because when you talk about like San Francisco, Chicago, and Portland, like Portland and Chicago are two just like really bad places, depending on where you go to. But like someone was telling me yesterday, I think it might have been you actually, when we were on the flight, like 300. There's been 300 deaths by gun or whatever
in Chicago
since the beginning of the year.
It was like 3 or 4 days ago.
Which
so it's
actually
probably higher than that now. And Memorial Day is always one of the biggest shooting weekends in Chicago. So
people get drunk and act a fool.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
They'll probably
that's crazy to me how they can allow for that to take place in their city. If they're overlooking
guns are banned in Chicago.
Yeah,
but that does,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what's so
I mean,
wild.
well, that goes back to like gun control, where they're like, oh, we're gonna take away all guns. The people that are going to commit the crime, they are gonna get the guns.
You're gonna go commit the crime in a gun-free area because you know nobody else there has got a gun to stop you.
If you're a criminal, you're not gonna be like, oh, you know what, we can't go over there. It says gun-free zone. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Even if you can take the guns, like I mean, UK and Australia have been successful at like taking the guns away from them, but then they just start stabbing each other, which is even more gruesome. Like it's just, at least when you get shot, you're just gonna die. I always say I like knives more because they're more personal. Just
they're pretty personal.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just coming all back around to the defunding the police. Like, this is what happens when you defund the police. When you don't give them the access to do what they need to get done, shit just falls apart. So, I mean, I'm surprised that they haven't fallen apart more than what they are. I mean, when Walmart's leaving, I mean, I think that's kind of like the first step. Because that's like they're Walmarts. They're considered like the lower class shopper, the really cheap.
They'll move on to Target.
Yeah, and then once that happens, everything will start pulling out, and then it'll start getting, I guess, more lawless. And because
Target, I think you can steal up to $200 of shit, and they won't arrest you or anything, but they'll have you on camera. And then when you hit that threshold, you'll get banned from Walmart or from Target, and you'll get.
Do they have microphones there at Target? We can hit.
They do.
I can go two places.
Do. They're not worth having. If you get them in store, they're probably not worth having.
Looking to bag the equipment, baby. Bag the equipment.
I saw somewhere in, I think it was in California, like almost anything that has like any small like amount of value like is all behind fucking like lock and key. In certain stores,
yeah,
it's like
when you get that's like when you get an electronic session and just about any Walmart or
not just electronics, like everything, like deodorant. Everything.
Yeah, and in Clifton, that one or that Kroger in Clifton, you have to check out when you go into like where the toothpaste, tampons, diapers, that type of shit. They have it all down one aisle, and you can only go down one way to the aisle. And you come back and there's a lady with a cash register and you have to check out there for that stuff.
Yeah, they're making everything like Plan B.
That's wild.
Bought a Plan B one time, fucking never again. It'll fucking learn you, bro. Fucking, there's things like $70 fucking.
Plan B.
Yeah, they're fucking expensive as shit.
Are they gonna start putting like turn signals on grocery carts then? Oh, I'm sorry, I was going the wrong way down a one way. I apologize for that.
Well, no, like it's cut off. Like it's like half an aisle.
It's crazy.
Damn.
What's crazy is like there's stores in like in Japan where like there's nobody, even like no attendant at the store whatsoever. Like you go in and you grab your stuff and then they like walk up front and then they pay for it.
Well, that's
and there's nobody in there at all, but like that's because that's the way their culture is. Like people like they won't steal. Like you could like forget your camera at a park like on a bench and it'd be like an $800 camera, right. And then you could go back like 2 or 3 hours later and it'll still be there.
Well, that's kind of a good question that we could raise, is having like these places like Walmart or whatever pulling out, is that going to help bring in like automation to these type of cities? I mean, I could definitely see that being a thing. That's one way to fix it getting shoplifted. If you don't have actual employees working there and everything's under lock and key until you actually pay the money, I mean, that'd be a good way around it.
Right. I was going to say, if you pay first and then
That
you can
sounds
access,
horrible.
it does. It
I
does.
want to do that.
But that's what people are. That's what happens when dumb people do dumb shit.
And we just talked about
it hurts the other, majority percentage of us that don't do those things.
Have you guys ever shoplifted?
I don't want to talk about it. I was younger. It was Big Lots. I was really scared. It's fine.
Big Lots.
For sure.
I've never shoplifted
these
ever.
motherfuckers used to go to fucking Ashland City Walmart and fucking just tuck entire pizzas into their bubble jackets and shit.
Dude, we were
Yeah,
like
I've
really.
never even taken a pack of gum.
We
like,
were really poor at one point in time, and like we were living in Jack's dorm room, like when he was in college. Like we were just staying in his dorm room with him, and like we would all load up in the car. There'd be like 5 of us, and we would go and hit like 3 different Walmarts in one night, and like it was like during winter, so it made it easier. But like we had certain ways that we would wear our jackets. Like you'd wear 2 jackets, and like the under jacket would be zipped up so far,
Fucking criminals.
and tucked in, and then the other jacket would be unzipped and like hanging down past where the other one was tucked in, and then you just like throw stuff like around like on your back, and it would just all sit like in there, and we would pay for like sugar and bread, like the things that we couldn't steal, and then we would steal packs of
Go
Kool-Aid
through and spend some money on fucking a couple things so it doesn't look suspicious, and then
and steal.
No, I'm too
Steal-
scared
There
to
you
do
go,
that.
everyone. Now you have
The way to shoplift.
Yes.
Hey, you want to
do.
know how to get some crime done?
Right.
We might be 2 guys to come talk to. So.
Goodness.
What
We were
have you
hungry.
done that's illegal? Let us know in the comment section.
Let us know if you were successful at
If you've ever
this act
shoplifted,
of
like,
shoplifting.
comment, subscribe.
Yeah,
If you've ever shoplifted.
There's gonna be a lot of people like, comment, and subscribe on this one. Hey,
Man, I'll have
One of
to.
the easiest things to steal was filet mignon, because they're like this
What?
small. Yeah, they're like this small.
don't you have to go up to like the counter to get that shit?
No, you can buy it in
No,
a pack.
like
Oh,
it's-
really?
Yeah, like prepackaged, like, and they're like this.
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
sound
little.
like very
So-
good filet mignon. I'm
Dude, it
questioning
was
that.
good.
No,
I
it's
mean-
actually not bad.
Yeah,
was
well, I
good.
bet it's good enough to eat. It's
Yeah.
still filet
That
mignon,
and,
but
like-
It's not it's not like
You
fucking
could-
world class flaming up.
You could take a
filet
rack of
mignon,
ribs
but-
and like just put it like right along your ribs.
Oh, you were stealing like expensive shit.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, we were eating good.
yeah, nah, fucking, you gotta eat. God damn it.
Wow.
I mean, it was just things that were like it was bad. Justin one time like stole a pineapple just to see if he could steal it. And like a pineapple's pretty big and prickly, like, but he did it.
Sometimes you got to. At Bonnaroo that one year, you snuck a fucking bag of wine into Center Roo with twice.
2 bags of
Two
wine
bags of
at
wine
once.
without a shirt on.
Oh, what
without
the
a shirt on. Yeah, no, there's levels to this shit, Bailey.
No, I'm
But
never
also-
fucking sneaking a bag of
also-
wine into anywhere ever
Also,
again.
our degenerate asses always go to Bonnaroo, and we have like 50 people going with us, and we
Well,
all
you
have
got- yeah, you
handicap
guys get
placards,
handicapped.
and fucking we go through fucking the handicap section, which is an absolute joke to get through.
I
man.
can't wait until this podcast comes out and then your brothers watch it and then you get a phone call. Hey, man, I was hoping that'd stay on the... No, I'm kidding.
No way.
You're like, yeah,
He's
man, I
probably
remember
proud
when
of
we
it.
did that.
I bet if
yeah.
you asked him, he'd probably be like,
I was
yeah,
gonna
hell
say,
yeah, I did
man.
that.
Yeah.
Proud of sneaking in 2 bags of wine? Or
No,
Justin?
the
No.
pineapple.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. Justin would definitely be proud of that. No, it was a little degenerate ass, but
I mean, we didn't even eat the pineapple either. He like smashed it and put it on my buddy's car.
yeah.
Yeah, well, at least it was all worthwhile.
Oh well.
It was fun.
But do we have any closing comments on the whole Walmart thing? Because
Don't steal.
Now that we kind of
I
Don't
mean, I
defund
don't-
the police.
I don't think it's
steal,
gonna...
break stuff, commit murder, do whatever you want to, burn it down. It's time for new society.
I am a completely different human than anybody here right now.
Anarchy, baby.
Oh, shut up. I stole a stick of gum. Relax.
Anarchy, baby.
Big Lots is
See,
great.
I've never done that.
I don't think it's going to change anything necessarily. I mean, it's gonna suck for the people that went to Walmart, but they're just going to adjust and go somewhere else and do the same
They
stuff.
are, but I think the whole thing is it's like the first step in a long.
Well, yeah,
Like
I mean,
now that Walmart's closing down, then the other places are going to get hit harder, and they are either going to have to find a way around it to fix the problem, or they're going to end up shutting down in those areas, and then people are going to end up moving out of those areas. So
Yeah,
I mean,
like there's still
if you're
like,
defending the police in those cities and stuff like that, I really don't think that your fucking government or your government has failed you at that point.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
think-
saying.
I think I was looking like in Chicago, it's like 50% of all the Walmarts in Chicago pulled out. So like they're pulling out of the areas where like the theft is really bad, but like then there's
South
probably
side.
nicer neighborhoods and stuff where
They'll just go
like
there.
they're still there. Well, I mean, those people usually don't have cars and shit. I mean,
Well, see,
I guess you could ride the city bus.
They'll
and-
find a way to get there.
That's the thing about it. If you start taking them out of the bad areas, and then they'll start going into the good areas, and then that's going
Yeah,
to
then
start
that
getting rid of
area
the
will be-
people that you need. So
Yeah, then that
Correct.
area will
What's
be
the
a bad
reverse
area.
of gentrifying? What's that called?
getifying,
Getifying. Well, that's what's gonna happen.
getifying, putting them into boroughs.
That's what this short's titled. The ghetto-fying of.
The getifying of the world.
I mean, it's crazy. I feel like those areas like San Francisco, Portland, Chicago, and stuff. I mean, like we look at Price Hill and we're like, oh my gosh, Price Hill, or like areas like that, whatever, even lower Price Hill, whatever. It's like that's Indian Hill compared to some of those areas
Right. Yeah.
in those states.
Well, in those cities specifically, like
Yes.
fucking, there's a reason why they call it Chirac, bro, because it's a straight war zone. In
It
fucking
is,
in
and it's
Chicago.
crazy. I mean, we should be like even thankful to have what we have is called like the worst of areas. Still way better than.
Yeah, I'd like to see how comparable they are. When you're talking about like, I don't think that like those areas of Cincinnati are that much better than some of these places.
Over
but
the
when you're
Rhine
talking,
used to rank
when you're
nationally
when
as
you're
one of
talking
the
like
worst.
Compton, Inglewood, Chicago, New York, like those really big cities that have those like really extreme crime rates and
Right.
stuff like that. Those are like another tier, but it's Cincinnati can get pretty bad. But
It can,
like,
but
Avondale, fuck all that.
I'd rather have our worst than the worst of what they have.
Like 6 or 7 years ago, like OTR was always like in the top 10. Like,
Oh,
and-
yeah, no, OTR has been heavily gentrified. I tell people all the time, like, when Jenna came up from Tennessee or whatever.
Well, as long as you stay on the main road, you're okay.
That's
now.
what I told her.
just
I was
don't go
like,
down
she
a-
was like,
out a
we're
few streets.
staying in OTR. I was like, here's the thing about OTR. If you stay on the main, like, strip or whatever, I was like, you'll be okay. But you go a block away from it, you might be somewhere you don't want to be. I was like, when I was a kid, you did not want to go to OTR. You did not want to go to OTR.
like where Hunter's apartment is, we took a different way to get to Hunter's apartment, not through like the decent section. We're walking with. I'm glad his dad was with us because I felt very uncomfortable walking because of all the people that were on the streets, like kind of catcalling us. And he's like, "We're not taking this way again." And I was like, "I'm fine with that. I don't want to be here."
he lives in a pretty rough part
scared.
of OTR, man. So